Kyaari's founder refused an offer from Shah Kunal, Bahl and Peyush Bansal because it could potentially trigger anti-dilution. And this is exactly what he mentioned on this episode.
हमारा काउंटर है यदि हम इसको 80 करोड़ की वैल्यूएशन पे 2% देके 1.6 करोड़ कर सकते हैं।
Your counter. This is not a good counter.
हमारा एंटी डाइल्यूशन ट्रिगर हो जाएगा यदि मैं उस वैल्यूएशन पे आता हूं।
Waiver ले लेना यार.
But what exactly is this anti-dilution clause which in a way pushed these founders to reject the offer from sharks is what we will discuss in this video. Alright, so the first thing that you need to understand is that this anti-dilution clause is a clause that you will generally find in shareholders agreement, and it exactly does what it sounds like, which basically means to protect the dilution of the equity of the investors. And what this clause provides is that if the company is now raising funds at a lower valuation as compared to the valuation at which the investor put his money, then the company has to make sure that the investor's equity does not get diluted. And there can be multiple ways through which an anti-dilution clause can work, but for the sake of an example that I'm going to take to explain, I am taking the full ratchet method. Now let's just assume that there is a startup with 900 shares and the market value of one share is rupees 10, and because the company now wants to raise funds, it issues 100 more shares at the price of rupees 10 at which the investor invests. So now the total shares come to 1000 and the investor's equity totally becomes 10%. But let's just say the market conditions change and the valuation of the company comes down for some reason, but the company still needs funds. And now what has happened in this case is that because the company has issued more shares, the equity of the previous investor is diluted. And in such a case, if there is an anti-dilution clause which gets triggered, then in this case, the company will have to issue more shares at this lower price valuation to the previous investor, and that too free of cost, to balance his equity. And that is why the anti-dilution clause is a great advantage to the investors, but for the founders, their equity gets diluted even more, so that's a big disadvantage.